Few hours after ceasefire between Israel and Palestine came into force this morning, there were new clashes between Israeli police and Palestinians. This international conflict between Israel and Palestine never came to an end. The conflict, as defined by Wall and Callister, is a process in which one party perceives that their interests are being affected by other party. The conflict between Israel and Palestine began in the early 19th century, where at the time the Jews were oppressed in Europe and they moved to Palestine to seek protection. When the European colonialism conquered almost the entire world, the Zionist movement was born, where they claimed that Jews have exclusive rights over Palestine. In 1946, there were violent clashes between Zionist Jews and Palestinians. Britain can no longer control the situation and let the United Nations take responsibilities for the Palestinian issue. The United Nations then adopted Resolution 181 in 1947 that divided Palestine under the Jewish Zionist mandate and the Palestinian Arabs. Although the Palestinians rejected the division of their homeland, the Zionists continued to declare that the state belongs to the Jews and officially put the name of Israel to the state. Palestinians continued to fight for their homeland. And in 1987, there were the outbreak of the resurgence of Palestinians known as the First Intifada, and they also launched the Second Intifada in 2000. Although the President of the United States of America, George Bush, has mapped out the solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, still, the battles often take place every day. Up until May 2021, the conflict between Israel and Palestine is still ongoing. To know more on the factors of the conflict, our Middle East reporter Fatin Amira reports now from Gaza.
The first factor of the conflict between Israel and Palestine is the territorial gain. Palestine has a strategic position which is located in the western part of ASEAN continent. The area of Palestine now reaches 27009 square kilometers. Its geographical position, which is in the west, shows that Palestine is next to international water from Mediterranean Sea with a distance about 250 kilometers from Al-Naqura in the south to Rafah and has a location in the middle of the Arab world. It places Palestine as a link between several continents for the ancient world of Asia, Africa, and also Europe. The retaking of Palestine city was intended by the Israel IDF as the most far-reaching operation short of deportation. Operation Field of Turn was the name of the scheme. The purpose of this plan is conquer found in Area C and some area of Gaza and military exercise at regimental level. Then, religious element had influenced the existence of the conflict between both states. Everyone knows the religious embraced by state. Palestinians who embraced Islam had opposed the politics of Zionism and Zionist action. Jerusalem or Baitul Maqdis is very important to the Muslim because it is the third holiest place for Muslims around the world after Mecca and Medina. In addition, they have the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem, which is known by Muslim Al-Haram Al-Sharif or Glorious Holy Land. The conflict happened when Israel wanted to claim Jerusalem as its capital. One of the main reasons why Israel wants to take control of Jerusalem is because they want to rebuild Solomon of Temple that collapsed when Rome attacked. Muslims, especially in Palestine, were injured by this action and fought to protect Jerusalem. So both of the factors caused the war between both states, and this conflict still continues until today, and there is no sign that this issue will be resolved in the near future. Then I want to asking Miss Aisha, who is humanitarian volunteer, about the impact of this conflict. Miss Aisha, can you explain about that?
Thank you for having me. I just wanted to emphasize on the consequences that have been negatively impacting both sides. As we all know, the ongoing conflicts between Israelis and Palestinians has killed and wounded many people. However, it is clearly shown that Palestine is affected the most. This can be seen in terms of health. The conflict has caused physical destruction whereby dozens of people have been injured, resulting in an increase in the number of people with disabilities. For instance, sparking large fire has become the rising death factors of Palestinian people, including children, women, civilians, and soldiers. Thus, as a result of violence, psychological destruction can be happen as the mental health of the victims will be affected. This can be linked to the losses of family members, depression, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. Furthermore, the conflict also seems to have a huge negative impact on education systems. Schools are often targeted by violent attacks, which resulted in destructions of infrastructure and resources needed to maintain functioning education systems. For example, Palestinian schools were closed for extended periods, and some universities shut down for more than 4 years. In addition, many teachers also were forced to retire, and a number of schools were taken over as detention centers.
Thank you, Fatin and Aisha from Gaza. To add, we also believe that the conflicts have led to the government instability, where the government is not able to provide good governance to the country, including the welfare and needs for the people. There was also the destruction of economic infrastructure, where employees are required to work in terrible situations due to the collapse of economic infrastructure that finally led to the reduction in the productivity and revenue. Now we have Associate Professor Nur Amira Shahira that will talk on the suggestions of the solution for the conflict between Israel and Palestine, and together with us, the Associate Professor Nabila Hanim will give her opinions on the expected outcome if the issue is resolved.
Thank you, Ms. Fadila, for giving me this opportunity to give my opinion about suggestions of solution for the conflict between Palestine and Israel. So my first suggestion of solution between Palestine and Israel is by arbitration. Besides that, arbitrations refer to the conflict that is resolved by the third party, which known as arbitrators. By using this method, they are allowed to resolve the dispute without bringing it to the court. In addition, by arbitration, it is easier to get the decision because the procedure to make the decision is quite simple than the court procedure. I think Palestine and Israel should take this approach to settle their dispute because, as we can see, there is no ultimate solutions that has been decided by them. Therefore, Palestine and Israel should appoint the third party, such as PBB, to decide the final decision that will make them free from the war. So my second suggestions about the solution between Palestine and Israel is to promote relations. Besides that, promoting relations in this context is referring to the relationship between the state or region. In this world, we have more than 200 Islamic countries, and Palestine is one of them. If all those Islamic countries are united to maintain good relations with Palestine, or those countries give assistance to Palestine in the war, I'm sure that it will make Palestine a country with great potential to win the war. However, some Muslim countries are more concerned with economy than peaceful. For me, leaders should think about peace first, because I'm sure that when peace can be achieved, it indirectly will make the economy also be well taken care of. So the leaders of Islamic countries around the world must unite to give support to Palestine so that Palestine is no longer oppressed by Israel. I think that's all my opinion about suggestions of solution for the conflict between Palestine and Israel. So can I have Associate Professor Nabila Hanim to give her opinion about the expected outcome from all of the suggestions?
Much thanks to you, Professor Maria Nur Amira Shahira, for offering me this chance to offer my viewpoint about the dispute among Palestine and Israel. As we probably are aware, the Israel-Palestine issue has claimed many lives, causing the Palestinians to experience grief. Along these lines, in the event that this issue can be settled, no more Palestinians will hesitate to go any place with practically no danger as long as they are in their country. This is on the grounds that they can live freely, uninhabitedly without severe boundaries by Israel. Additionally, there will be no more harm, the sound of attacks and carnage occurring, which has prompted the Palestinians to endure a lot of damages to buildings, streets, and people's lives. At long last, with the consummation of the issue, citizens can work back to improve their standard of living and simultaneously raise the country's economy back. At the point when the government economy is secure, human rights can be ensured, which will guarantee, in some measure, all individuals have basic needs met to proceed with their daily lives. Illustration of the basic needs is food and water, clothes, medication, and shelter, which have been affected. This is regular on the grounds that the barricades forced by the Israelis have caused their basic needs to be cut off. That's all I have to say regarding the expected outcome if the Israel-Palestine conflict can be settled.
Thank you, Associate Professor Nur Amira Shahira and Associate Professor Nabila Hanim from the Faculty of Administrative Science and Policy Studies of UiTM. Stay tuned with us for more updates on the international conflict around the world.